What's going on, everybody? How's everybody going? My name's Zerback47. I stream World of Warships every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Twitch. Tonight, we're covering the latest dev blog. This is the Closed Test 15.5 250th anniversary of the U.S. independence. Decals, new unique splash. So there's a lot going on in this dev blog, and I think it'll be pretty fun to cover. Hello, Captains. Update 15.5 has a lot going on. The main event is celebration of the 250th anniversary of American independence, which includes a narrative campaign, themed rewards, and new ship. On top of that, we're introducing decals to your ship, customization options, which is actually really cool, a unique Spanish commander, and more. Now let's get into the details. 250th anniversary of the U.S. independence. This year marks the 250th year since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To honor the anniversary and the bravery of those who fought for independence, we're hosting a large in-game celebration that will bring new content and let you earn plenty of rewards just by playing. Independence Day gifts. Each captain who plays at least one battle during 15.5 can receive a gift in the armory. It will be containing the following: the new We the People permanent camouflage for a tier 10 ship, the new Pride of Philadelphia enemy destruction effect. Okay, cool. And 3 artillery chest containers. Okay, so that's cool. Right here is the We the People for the tier 10. I'm under the impression that you'll be able to link this to any tier 10, so that's kind of cool. Here's the destruction effect, I believe. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it looks like fireworks and stuff. Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. I'm sold. I definitely want that. Absolutely. And here we go.
Yeah, the Dawn of a Nation campaign. We have also prepared a narrative campaign, Dawn of a Nation, that will let you earn rewards while following the story of how the 13 colonies won their independence. The campaign consists of 4 consecutive chapters, unlocking weekly throughout the update. To progress, you can complete 2 combat missions, one for random battles, ranked battles, clan battles, and operations, and another for co-op battles and brawls. You will be able to complete both missions as many times as you wish without any restrictions. You can complete both missions or just one of them, focusing on your favorite battle type. Either way, if you play actively, you'll be able to finish the entire campaign.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what, you'll be able to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So among the rewards, you'll find the historical U.S. Commander John Glover, seasoned historical U.S. Commander John Paul Jones, the 13 Salvos enemy destruction effect, and the Betsy Ross flag, as well as the We the People permanent camouflage for tier 10 ships and the Pride of Philadelphia enemy destruction effect.
Okay, so those are all going to be available for completing that campaign. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff. I like that they're giving away basically a free tier 10 permanent camo. That's pretty cool. That destruction effects, yeah, it's great. That destruction effects looks absolutely amazing. Continuing down here, it looks like this is going to be the other destruction effect, I'm guessing. Yes, okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so that definitely looks pretty awesome. Work in progress.
Yeah, that is going on my Missouri.
Absolutely. That's a perfect ship to put on. There's a lot of good ones that you can put on too. I like the Betsy Ross flag too. Gets the 13 Cality stars, the original United States flag during the independence, so that was pretty cool. All right, tier 8 Cruiser Congress will be the final reward of the campaign. If you already own her, you will receive compensation in doubloons. Okay, so we're giving you free coin for it if you already have the ship. Awesome.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Each week, extra levels will reward you with 2 times Dawn of the Nation containers per level. These containers will bring you a piece of the new historical collection dedicated to one of the most significant moments in U.S. history, the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And this looks like, I guess this is what the containers look like and whatnot. Yeah, this is actually really pretty cool here. Completing the collection will reward you with an achievement and the Minuteman permanent camouflage for the first permanent camouflage created specifically for super ships. And that's what it looks like right there, Chad. That looks cool, man. That looks so cool. Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's awesome. That's really looking pretty awesome. I love the colors too, the gold on black. It's yeah, that looks really sharp for the main too. So that's the first permanent camouflage that's going to be available for the main, for super ships in general. And I could not think of a better candidate for a 4th of July event other than, you know, the United States main. So that's pretty cool. Active players will be able to complete the entire collection for free, so it's going to cost you nothing. Additionally, themed content. Here we go. On top of the campaign, the following themed content will be added to the game: golden versions of the Wisconsin and Fort Wentworth. See, this is important to me too, because when I was going through, when they first offered the Wisconsin Wisconsin in the dockyard, I was in flight school and I was doing probably some of the most intense studying in my life, and I actually missed the Wisconsin dockyard, one of only 2 dockyards ships that I don't have. And the fact that they're bringing it back, even if it's going to cost you some money and it's in a gold version, I still am pretty excited of having the opportunity to get the ship again. I'll be actively trying to get it too, which is really exciting. White and gold permanent camouflage for the Puerto Rico. Okay, cool. Old North State permanent camouflage for the North Carolina. Presidential trunk container. A festive New York port with multiple themed decorations that will immerse you in the atmosphere of Independence Day. So that's pretty cool. So here's the 2 different camos that are available. This looks like the gold camo for the Wisconsin. If you already have the Wisconsin, chat, I'm super jealous of you, but I'll be actively trying to acquire this ship because that's definitely one that I want in my port, and she's beautiful. And here's the permanent camouflage for the Puerto Rico as well too, so that's pretty cool. So far in game, we've had 2 separate events that allowed you to receive the Puerto Rico. As one of the crazy guys that actually got the ship during the very first dockyard, and that's when the Puerto Rico was first introduced into the game, is during that first dockyard event, and I was lucky enough to acquire her. And this looks like the presidential trunk, so this is what the containers look like. They do a really good job, and this is awesome here too. The New York's harbor port with all the fireworks and the festive activities and stuff. And again, I could not think of a better port to celebrate the birth of the United States with any other port other than New York. So that looks really cool. And as you can see, they just do a phenomenal job here. The Brooklyn Bridge is all lit up. Old school New York's skyline, which is you really just 1920s, 1930s, 1940s style skyline, which looks absolutely amazing. And this is what she looks like overall at that angle. It looks like they're going to have continuous fireworks going off in the background too, which actually is just really pretty. So that looks really good. Container contents, Dawn of the Nation containers. So let's click on this here.
Pretty basic stuff for the Dawn of the Nation stuff.
Yeah.
So it's going to guarantee you get the collection elements on there, and then your normal kind of base level, 3,000 free XP, some economy flags.
Right.
But the cool thing is they are bringing back ships in there, and a big one that a lot of people that I know have missed was the Enterprise.
Yes.
The Enterprise will be there, so will be the new Fort Worth. It'll be in there as well, along with Saipan, Hornet, Alabama, Constellation, Halford, Tulsa, Johnston, Enterprise, Tennessee, Cambridge, Bridgeport, or Fort Worth.
That's amazing. That's actually really amazing, chat. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that you can get through these containers. Artillery chest containers. Yeah, it looks like these are the drop rates here. Artillery chest. Okay, yep. And here's if you click on it here, this goes through just everything Malarkey just stated. I'm not going to read them again because Malarkey just went through it, but there's the drop rates, what's available in these containers, and so on and so on. Note that the Fort Worth will also be available for direct purchase in Admiral bundles. Okay, so if you want just the ship, you can buy just the ship outright. Looks like for cash money out of your own pocket. So that's great. You don't have to roll through it. I'm going to read this real quick. The presidential trunk container can drop the T-clad container, which can bring you the golden version of the Wisconsin and the Fort Wentworth, as well as the Puerto Rico T-clad containers. Okay, and this is what they look like here. Here's the published drop rates. And to me, the T-clad containers look like a container inside of a container, right? You're going to have to buy some of these presidential trunk containers to get a T-candy container. Once you get these containers, then you can go ahead and attempt to roll for one of these ships. So to obtain the Wisconsin or the Puerto Rico or the Fort Wentworth through these containers is going to be a pretty pricey undertaking, right? Just understand you're going to have to shell out quite a bit of money to try to roll for these ships, and these ships are going to be RNG based.
I mean, the good news is, just like any other container, if you already own the ships, it's only going to roll what you can drop.
Yes.
So like for me and you, we won't get the Puerto Rico, so we'll be, if we do get a ship out of those caddies, it'll be either the Wisconsin or the Fort Worth in gold, because we don't own those, but we already have the Puerto Rico. We can't get it a second time.
That's an excellent point. No, that's an excellent point. I'm glad you threw that in there, Malarkey. So yeah, just understand, that they're going to cost a little bit of money. It's a choice that you're going to have to make for yourself. Are they worth it? In my opinion, I think the Wisconsin's absolutely amazing. I'm actively going to go after that ship because I missed it in the first dockyard. So they already got me tied up in it. I'm kind of hooked already, and that's fine. It's up to you whether you want to spend the money or not. I can't tell you what to do with your wallet, but I think they're fun ships to play. Apparently, the Wisconsin's incredibly strong, and I think it's going to be really good. Don't really know a whole lot about the Fort Worth, but I'm sure she's going to be a lot of fun to play as well, and I'm looking forward to bringing her out myself.
So decals. So last year we announced a closed test of the new ship customization feature that expands the way you can personalize your ship. Following testing and further development, this feature is ready to go live with update 15.5. So decals allow you to decorate your ship with visual elements like famous mottos, symbols, or historically inspired artwork. They give you the new ways to make your ship stand out while keeping the overall visual style of World of Warships intact. So
let's talk about that for just a second. I think that's a really good idea too. It's you're basically going to be able to tag out your ship kind of however you want. You're going to be able to make your ship unique to you, and as far as I know, it's going to be displayed to everybody else in game too as well, right? So I think that just adds a little bit of immersion. I think it's just something that's fun, right? It's strictly cosmetic. It's not going to increase your HP, not going to increase your damage per minute, so on and so on. It's strictly cosmetic, and I think it's cool that you can kind of customize your ship with these logos and stickers to whatever it is that you feel that you want to put on your ship. I think that's really cool. It adds a little bit of personal flair to something that you appreciate, right? If you got that one ship that you play all the time, you love it, why not make it a little bit more unique for you? And I think that's a great idea. I think it's just one of those things that are just fun, right? It's just fun. Why is it going to be any more complicated than that?
So yeah, how decals will work. So ships have specific mounting points where decals can be placed. Decals will be mounted via the exterior editor, which will show all available mounting slots. Decals come in different shapes and sizes, determining which mounting points they fit. There will be different types of decals, including symbols, text, and flags. Yeah, so all decals are orientated from left to right. Once linked, a decal is assigned to that ship, similar to permanent camouflages. Decals can be changed or removed at any time. Linked decals can be moved between available mounting points on the same ship. Decals can only be linked to ships without camouflage or with camouflage that do not alter the ship's 3D model. And then decals won't be compatible with camouflages based on non-standard materials such as golden or Black Friday camouflages. So all those golden Black Friday ships won't be able to use them.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense, right? I mean, they're already modeled for what they have and for what they are. So I think this just standardized the way it does things, and you'll be able to pretty much, it'll just be able to mount these stickers on any stock ship, right? You know, and I think that's important because like the Black Friday ships, you know, different kind of event camos and stuff like that are structured for that event and for that style, right? They have their own look. Yeah. So to be able to do that just on ships that are like in their current state, their current models under normal circumstances, I think it's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with that at all, and it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of implement too. So there's nothing wrong with that at all, but that's kind of cool.
Oh, I was going to say I had to find it, but it's underneath the decals in update 15.5. Probably the biggest thing is decals are only being mounted on tier 9s right now. So they're testing basically to see how well it's going to work on the big server for everybody, but it's only going to be on tier 9 ships. And if it goes well, I bet they'll release it to like tier 5, 6, 7, whatever other tier ships you want.
Yeah, I think that's a great point as well. I didn't know that myself, and I'm glad you pointed that out, Malarkey. That'll work really good because, like you said, it's a test bed. They'll see how the engine handles it, make sure it doesn't break the game in any way, then they'll slowly start introducing this stuff too. Remember, when they do these slots, right, they gotta implement the slots onto the ship, right? So there's a lot of ships that they're gonna have to go through to just make these things available for. So if they can start one tier, knock them all out, it really takes the pressure off of your design team to focus on one tier ship at a time. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. And the whole time you're getting feedback for like placement of these things, designs, things of that nature, and it's only going to improve. So have them start at just like a tier 9 and move forward from there. I think it's smart. There's nothing wrong with it, and I can guarantee you, like Malarkey said, eventually this stuff's going to be implemented on other tiers, which is going to be really nice. Oh, that looks really cool. And and this shows the decals. Yep, this shows where the decals are located on the ships too. So that's a nice touch. It's subtle, and it looks like here's your slots where they can be mounted. So that's kind of cool. Looks like you got one in the bow, probably the center of the strip, and towards the stern. And this is how they look presented on this ship too. So they're not like super big. They're not like gonna like hurt your eyes when you look at the ship. They're just something that's there, customizable and fun, right? Yeah.
A big thing that I saw, especially in your chat, where people were asking if they're going to be able to make their own. Right now, no, it's not. It's not going to be like War Thunder where you can make whatever icon you want. It's going to be a set of historical ones, And as it said, it was symbols and text. So they're going to be historical. They're going to have meaning. They're not going to do any meme ones at all in the beginning. So it's going to be just, what you would think is more a military standard.
Details in update 15.5. Additionally, for the first interaction of details coming in 15.5, the following rules will apply. You'll be able to obtain decals for 2 types, symbols and text. Yep, and this is everything that Malarkey just covered here. We'll skim over this briefly. All the decals are historically inspired. Decals can currently be mounted on only Tier 9 ships. We're planning to extend the ship tier range in the future. All previous obtained decals will be fully customizable with other ship tiers once that happens. So right there, they said it. They just said it right there. Once they get this thing implemented, let's get it on these Tier 9 ships. Let's just get the material out there. Then eventually you'll be able to kind of fully customize your own decals, which is great. They said it right there in the text. So that stuff's coming later down the road. You can mount up to 6 decals for ships, 3 per side in the following location. Slot at the bow and at the stern are reserved for symbols. In the midship slot, you will be able to install text. That's cool. Okay, and this update decals will be distributed via decal premium containers that you can earn by completing special combat missions. All right, that's cool. So it's going to be just another way of like mounting flags and stuff, like flags that are available for certain events and stuff. It's just one more thing that you can put on the side of your ship, which I think is really nice. And again, decals, premium containers. Here's what this stuff is for. The drop rates. I'm not going to go through all this. I'm not going to read it off. You can see for yourself on screen. Pause it, do whatever you like, and that's what's going to be available in the premium containers, and that's what they look like right there. Note that for testing purposes, reward and distribution methods for decals will be different from the live server. Okay, so they're, this stuff is still in test, right?
They mainly say that because it's going to be on the test servers, where people will be able to test it out, and they're just trying to say, hey, you're going to probably get a whole bunch of easy ones for free on the test servers, but that's not going to be how they're going to come out live.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point too, because on the test servers, they're just trying to check to see if these mechanics will physically work, right? And the best way to do that is to give people a lot of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they want to be able to test it, right? They need to have it there to test. So when this stuff hits the live server, I'm sure the price values and stuff of what they're going to cost in the test servers are going to be wildly different than what they are when they hit the real life or live servers, and that's just completely normal. That's not anything that different that they haven't done in the past. This is normal. You just need to understand that. All right, here we go. Unique Spanish commanders.
Pascual Saveras Tope.
That's close enough, man. You already did better than what I could do, man. You already did better what I could do. So it looks like they're gonna introduce unique Spanish commander, which is really cool. We do have a couple Spanish cruisers in the game, some Spanish destroyers. So looks like they're just giving us another unique commander for that. A unique commander will be available for testing, and there is his name again, the one that I cannot pronounce. With additions in a featured update, every nation in World of Warships will have its own unique commander, kind of like Halsey, Yamamoto, Cunningham, right? They're following the same trend here. And there's the name that I cannot pronounce again. 1839 to 1909 was a vice admiral in the Spanish Navy. He devoted more than 50 years of his life to a naval career, starting at the deadline of the age of the sail and ended up in the dawn of the dreadnought area. So that dude's seen a lot happen. He's seen a lot change. And this is, I think, what a lot of people are kind of focused on and excited for, myself included. Enhanced skills for aircraft carriers. So he's going to be on, you're going to be able to mount him on Spanish aircraft carrier. Swift flying fish. Say that 10 times fast, chat. Aerial torpedo speed increased by 17% instead of 5. Okay. For battleships, super heavy AP shells. Man battery AP shell damage increased to 10% instead of 7.5. So that's a nice little buff right there. For cruisers, heavy AP shells. So they're following the trend with that. Main battery AP shells for guns of 190 millimeters plus caliber increases 7.5 instead of 5%. Demolition Expert. Main battery and secondary battery HE shell fire chance increased to 1.5 instead of 1. Swift Fish. Torpedo speed increased from 7% instead of 5. So that's pretty good, and that's just on cruisers alone. So all your Spanish cruisers and stuff, you will have the ability to get a little bit of a faster torpedo speed if you choose to go with that skill. For destroyers, this is the one I'm most interested in. Demolition Expert. Okay, here we go. Main battery and secondary battery HE cell firing chance increased to 1.5% instead of 1. Swift Fish torpedo speed increased to 7% instead of 5%. So that's pretty significant. These are all commander skills that are available in the commander tech tree, and it looks like these are some enhanced skills, and which is actually really nice. Some of them are some really good buffs. All right, unique talents. Here we go.
So unique talents, Resoluto triggers up to 4 times per battle when you earn either, what I love, 2 destroyed or 2 assisted in destruction ribbons. Each activate reduces main battery reload time, torpedo tube reload time, and aircraft preparation time by 2.5%. So if I'm reading that correctly, you can get it down 10%.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. On the one ship that comes to mind with me is like the Brazen, right? The Spanish DD, the Brazen, the coal ship that's currently available. If you can get that has a burst fire, right? If you can get that 10% off of that reload, that's going to be pretty nutty. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think that's going to be really good. And he'll work really good on pretty much any Spanish cruiser in the game.
Yeah, and then the second one, that is, I'm going to try to pronounce it low, Orden Serra Copula. It's the best I got. Triggers the first time your ship HP reaches 75, 50%, and 25%, so up to 3 times per battle. Each activation partly restores lost HP 300 per ship over 10 seconds. Damage control party reload by -3%. Reload party reload time by -3%, and other consumable reload time by -6%.
Yeah, that's actually really nice.
Big note, one thing that I did pick up from their last stream, World of Warships, is there is a big rework going on with legendary commanders.
Okay.
And they said, look at this commander is what they're trying to do with other commanders, where they're going to have better unique talents that help across a wide selection of ships, not just one.
Yeah, I think that's important too. This is going to be a really, really, really good commander to run on pretty much any destroyer in the game. Like straight up, any chance you can get any bit of your HP back into DD, that's worth its weight in gold right there. This one's unique though. It repairs you at 75%, 50%, and 25%, which is just
and a big note on there. It says, note that if a ship loses a large amount of HP quickly, the talent can trigger 2 or 3 times at once.
Yeah, so that's great.
Stack.
I'm really excited about it.
If you're in a cruiser and you get citadeled, you could trigger 2 or 3 of these at the same time.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. He's going to be a very strong commander.
I was going to say, so what Malarkey's saying is turn broadside at the start, lose up to 25% of your HP, boom, now you got all 3. Now you don't have to worry.
Now you don't have to worry, baby.
Especially if you see me in game.
This is going to be such a strong commander. I think he's I'm liking where they're going with this already. So yeah, just remember, everything that you see here is subject to change. This is just a closed test dev blog. All these values are not set in stone. Let's see, shadow mapping improvements. This is some art department kind of changes and stuff. Let's see where we go. Softer shadows, less shadow. What does that say? Less shadow jittering?
Jittering. Well, so you know how like when you see a buoy in game as it sits right now, how the shadow looks kind of edgy, like all the edges. It's not very smooth. It's not a crisp shadow or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're going to soften up the edges so it looks more rounded and it looks more as realistic as they can get to a shadow effect on there.
Okay, so that's cool. It's just some minor improvements in the visual effects of the game that just make it a little bit more immersive, and I like details.
And it's shadowing across the board, so anything on ships, on the ocean, mountains, on the water, everything, all of the shadow system is being reworked.
Yeah, so that's really nice. I mean, that's just a nice subtle touch that really, honestly, kind of sticks out. It's the little details that we don't really pay attention to all the time that really make the quality of what we see just that much better. So all these little unique touches and stuff I think are really good. Reduced ghosting of ambient occlusion effects. So yeah, they're just kind of making that a little bit more nicer, which is going to be really good. The number of shadow rendering quality options will be simplified down to 4: off, low, medium, and high. So if you're dealing with an older computer and you don't really want to press your GPU too hard, you will be able to adjust these settings just like any other change. And they got a couple pictures here. Yeah, see, this is what it looks like now, right, in game, and this is what they kind of want to go to. So that's pretty significant. That's pretty significant. That's a nice change.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember when they updated the wave effects?
Yeah,
Ships? Like,
yeah,
when they would
yeah,
cut
yeah.
through the water, and they used to look really bad, and now they look really beautiful. I think they're really just they're doing amazing work with a really old engine.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah,
They're
really
squeezing
just
every last penny they can out of this engine and really goosing it up and doing everything they need to make it look great.
yeah, and I think they're doing a phenomenal job as well. Let's see, test of new consumables. Okay, a new type of consumables is coming into testing with update 15.5. These are support-oriented consumables designed to buff your allies. Okay, this is cool. Encouraging team gameplay and aiding other layers to tactical decision making. We'll be testing them on Commodore, and more details on where and how they will be available will follow later. Okay, here's how they work. Pressing a button opens a tactical map where you can select a targeted ship for the consumable. These consumables can be used on both teammates and yourself. However, using one on yourself will apply a significantly reduced effect. Okay, so they're just trying to like actively push team gameplay, which I love. You can only select targeted ships with a certain distance from your ship. Okay, kind of like dropping fighters with CV Squadron, right? It can only drop fighters at a certain radius around your current fighters. Nothing abnormal there. These consumables can only be used on targets visible to you. So your ship has to be in visual range of the other ship. You cannot send a buff to a submerged submarine. That's fair. Upon activation, a squadron flies to the target to deliver the buff. The buff is applied directly to the ship. No pickup is required. So that's cool. I don't know exactly where they're going to go with this, what these consumables are. Maybe they're actually going to the test here. They're actually going to describe it here a little bit. Let's watch the kind of effect here and what they're trying to do. My man's sailing down. He goes into his mini map. There's a radius around his ship. He just selected the ship, and it looks like it's going to buff the ship that's directly in front of him here. Ship's taking damage. It looks like he can get that back. Let's watch that one more time because this is kind of subtle. He's going to select the ship in front of him. Wish I could make this larger. I can. Let's start this over. So the Cleveland's in front of him, the bot Cleveland. He's selecting a ship. Here comes the drop, and it's going to buff this ship. So I'm sure we'll continue reading on the devlog farther, but I have kind of a suspicion you're going to be able to put out fires and whatnot. Let's see. 3 consumables will be tested. Gun Crew Assistant increases main battery firing range and reduces main battery reload. Wow, that's going to be strong. That's going to be really strong. I'm sure these buffs aren't going to last forever too. Auxiliary and torpedo armament assistance. Okay, increases AA efficiency and reduces the reload time of torpedo tubes and secondary battle guns. Okay, so you'll be able to just like the Schliefton that's pushing, right? You know, you can just kind of throw some buffs at him as he's like pressing W. That's kind of cool. Engineering crew assistance restores the ship's HP and reduces consumable cooldowns. That's pretty cool. So if you know you got a low health DD, right, who's just trying to get out of there, you can keep him alive by dropping him a heal buff, right, which is freaking great. So I actually love that. That's really going to work out the start of the match too. Really good at the start of the match when you're trying to contest the cap, right, and you're going 1v1 against the other DD on the opposite team that's in the cap with you, right? You know how you usually trade a lot of HP there at the start. Being able to get some of that back when you're actively in a gunfight from teammates behind you is going to be really cool. So that's kind of a unique touch. How much HP is going to be healed back, that's up to debate, and I'm sure that's going to be very well tested before that even hits the game. But this is some of the mechanics that they work on. Buffs from these consumables stack with other modifiers that ships may already have. For example, main battery, aid, and spotting aircraft can be both increase main battery range at the same time. Okay, cool. If a ship receives 2 or more consumables with similar effects, e.g. 2 main battery aids from a different ally ship, only the stronger buff will take effect. Once it expires, the weaker buff can take effect from the remaining duration if there's still action time remaining. Okay. So you're not going to be able to stack these. is what it's saying. If such consumables provide different effects, e.g. gun crew assistant and emergency crew assistant, they will work simultaneously without conflict. Okay. So that just gives you some clarification of how the stuff is going to work. Looks like we're getting in some clan battle stuff. Malarkey, you want to take up just the last little bit of information here about the clan battle season?
Sure. So we've got Clan Battle Season 34 coming up. Here's the format and the restrictions for the upcoming Clan Battle season. I love to see it. It's a 7v7 playing in tier 10 ships, kind of the same thing we're already used to.
Yep.
It's only battleships, destroyers, and cruisers, so still no subs or CVs. No more than one battleship per team, par for the course.
Yep.
And it looks like all hybrids are basically banned right off the bat. Louisiana, Hildenbrand, Commissar, Aki, and also Colombo. Colombo got banned outright as well. So just all the hybrids are getting taken out.
Yeah, I think that's great. They're kind of just taking the air power thing out of the equation, and it's going to be just coming down to like mono fights and the ships that you choose and your placement and your ability to perform and whatnot. I think that's great. They're trying to take at least that aerial aspect of gimmicky gameplay out of the equation for battles, which is great. And they've done that before too. I like that they banned the Christopher Colombo still. You know what I mean? Because the ledge mod is still incredibly strong, even after they kind of nerf it here next patch. I don't think it's been like super thoroughly tested yet. I mean, it has, but it's just hitting randoms, right? So why throw this into clan battles? I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
To add on to that, when we both know this from playing a lot of clan battles and randoms are completely different from clan battles.
Absolutely.
That so-called nerf for Colombo where it loses smoke a little bit, it doesn't mean anything in clan battles. You're already positioning much differently.
Yeah,
you don't really
exactly
need that smoke to begin with.
Yeah, and the same thing with the ledge mod too. When you're just the way this is going to work when it takes effect in 15.4 is it's going to have a similar dispersion curve to like the Soviet battleships. The closer you are, the more accurate your guns are going to be. The farther out, more spread out your dispersion is going to be. But typically clan battle maps are a lot smaller, right, than they are on randoms. So that thing is just going to be permanently buffed the entire time it's in the game. To see them pull the Christopher Colombo out of clan battles, I think is actually just a really good thing. Map pool is going to be Hotspot, Land of Fire, Sea of Fortune, Warriors Path, Sleeping Giant, the Forgo Islands, and Northern Waters. So all your typical normal clan battle maps are going to apply. Nothing big has changed there. Content additions and changes. New content coming in 15.5 includes. And here's the flag. Oh God, Spanish. Anybody speak Spanish? Anybody?
Nope. I barely speak English well.
I'm with you. All right, so we're just going with the flag. This is what's going to be. Rarity. Additionally, we would like to reveal the rarity of the following ships. And here it is so far. Rare, Fort Wentworth, rare, Fort Wentworth, golden, epic, Wisconsin, golden, epic. So whenever you see that epic, it means it's pretty much never going to be introduced. And they have no plans whatsoever in the near future to be reintroducing these ships. So right now, this is the only chance that you're going to be able to get these ships. So that's dev blog chat. I think there's a lot of good things going over here. I don't think it's really important to kind of go through and touch base on everything we just talked about, because I think we did a pretty good job with that as we went. But let me know in the comment section below, chat. What's the one thing that you're most excited about in 15.5 when this stuff finally gets released? I think the 4th of July event's going to be really cool. I love the fight. I love these destruction effects. I think they're absolutely amazing. A couple new permanent camouflages. I'm personally going to be actively seeking the Wisconsin gold because I don't have the Wisconsin. I really want the Wisconsin, so I'm gonna be actively going for that myself. The New York Harbor is gonna look lit up like it always does for the 4th of July, and I think that's a nice touch. A few new containers that are dedicated for the event. Decals on ships are gonna be kind of cool, and updated to visual effects with shadows on the map, which is gonna be great. Which is gonna be really good.
I can't wait to see how good the entire map's gonna look with all the shadows being reworked.
Yeah. Some of them are going to be really nice too. You know what I mean? Like on North has a lot of really good details already. So, Hotspot, all those Land of Fire, all those maps where there's a lot of detail already on the map. That's going to be pretty pronounced. I'm looking forward to these these new help your teammate consumable things that are going to be tested. I think that's going to be kind of cool. So there's a lot of good things coming in 15.5 chat. I hope everybody enjoyed this segment. Again, my name's ThereBack47. I usually stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Twitch. I hope you enjoyed this and this kind of content because we try to feature it whenever we can. All right, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out, and I really appreciate you watching the video. All right, see you on the next one.